NFC West with the Rams visiting the Niners. And then tonight, big game in the AFC. The Steelers take on the Chargers. In college football yesterday, number 2 Indiana hung on 27-24 to beat Penn State. A couple other notable finals. Number 8 Texas Tech all over number 7 BYU 29-7. Number 9 Oregon late beats number 20 Iowa. Wake Forest upset number 14 Virginia, and Cal upset number 15 Louisville. The Bruins offense was rolling on the road last night as the Bees beat the Toronto Maple Leafs 5-3. Mason Lohrei and Morgan Geekie each had multiple points in that game. And the Celtics have a quick rematch of Friday night's NBA Cup loss, the Orlando Magic. They play the Magic again tonight with coverage starting at 5:30 on our sister station 105.7 ROR. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Eastern Mass's leader in drain cleaning and pipelining, Drains by James. Slow drain, clog drain. You need to contact Drains by James today. DrainsByJames.com. I'm Alex Barth on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9 o'clock.
As Aka got knocked down, here's McAvoy bringing back out toward the blue line. 10 seconds to go. McAvoy down the right circle, trying to get it in front. Hubble, they score! Pavel Zacha with the game winner, and the Bruins win it in overtime, 3-2.
Every Bruins game on 98.5 The Sports Hub and the Sports Hub app. This is Sunday Kickoff with Alex Barth and Cerrone Battle. The show that's all Patriots, all football, all year long. The clutch wins, the tough losses, and the game-changing plays. This is the show that has it all covered. Sunday Kickoff, brought to you in part by Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka. Now, here are Alex Barth and Cerrone Battle.
All right, good morning. How we doing? Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff, Week 10 edition, November 9th. Alex Barth, Cerrone Battle, Ryan Garvin behind the glass. The Patriots taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this afternoon down in Tampa. Quick little geography lesson for you. Tampa Bay, body of water. The city, just Tampa. No city called Tampa Bay. Tampa is the city. Tampa Bay's the body of water. I don't know why. That always bugged me going back to before Brady was down there.
Didn't know that.
The Patriots will be in Tampa, and they'll use like Tampa Bay to refer to the general area, the general, metropolitan, whatever. But the city itself, just called Tampa. So using that to set the stage, the Patriots are in Tampa to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We will discuss that game. We'll get into some trade deadline thoughts, go around the league as well. Plus your calls, 617-779-0985. Cerrone, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, man. I'm doing pretty good, man. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm excited for this one. I'm excited for this one. Look, the Patriots' easy schedule talk. I know a lot of fans are sick of it. It's fair. It's first of all, it's fair to say, but it's also fair to be sick of it. It's the team's good for the first time in a while, and you don't want to hear that. But they beat up on an easy schedule. I think Atlanta, we talked about this last week, represented a step up from some of the other opponents they played: Cleveland, Tennessee, New Orleans, Carolina. Although Carolina's kind of moving now, but I do think they're kind of taking a step forward. This is a real test. To me, Tampa is, and some of this is the rest of the field coming back to them, and we've talked, Cerrone, about how the AFC maybe doesn't have that dominant team this year. The Bills, the Chiefs, the Ravens are not who they have typically been. Or in the NFL not having that in the AFC, and then in the NFC too. The Eagles maybe have taken a little bit of a step back. The Lions have maybe taken a little bit of a step back. I think the Bucs they could come out of the NFC as a Super Bowl team. Now they're banged up right now, and that's a factor. But they still have a quarterback that's played at an MVP caliber level. They have one of the best rookie receivers in the game. They got an underrated tight end, and that defense flies around. And they got multiple stars on that defense, guys at all three levels that can make plays. This is not a cupcake game. This is not a tomato can game. This is not any of that. I think the Patriots are going to get a real test today for the first time since Buffalo. And again, to go back to the easy schedule, for the most part, they're blowing these teams out, which is all you can ask. If they were barely sneaking by New Orleans and Tennessee and Cleveland, that would be another story. They're winning those games definitively, which tells you they're definitively better. And they won all of them, and they didn't have any slip-ups. This game is different. We're going to get to see now, okay, so they can blow out the bad teams. What do they look like against the good teams?
Yeah, but with the schedule with Tampa, I feel I kind of feel that not just here locally, whatever. I think nationally, we kind of overrating Tampa a little bit.
Interesting.
I think they've benefited from a very easy schedule this year. And unlike the Patriots, they are barely squeaking by these games. I mean, miracle win week 1, miracle win against the Jets. That was a fun game to watch. Houston, they beat by 1 point. Their signature win of the season was beating Seattle in the shootout, 38-35. They got Mac Jones, and the only other win after that was beating the Saints, 23-3, whatever it was. But I look at them. They're a good team. They have, like you said, they got good players, here or there. But I think they're kind of a middle of the pack team that's figured out how to win close games, if that makes sense. And Mayfield's not turning the ball over, which is the biggest thing, the key to the whole thing. He's not giving the ball away. And they're finding a way to make the plays at the end of the game in these close games to win all these close games. But I still think this team is very beatable. I think the Patriots can beat this team. And going down to Tampa, going to Florida in general for the Patriots hasn't always been a good thing.
That is true.
But I think they can beat this Tampa team. And I think Tampa, I don't think they're that I don't put them on the same level as Detroit. I don't put them up there with Philadelphia, even the Rams. I think the Rams are a better team than they are. And they're banged up on top of it. So I think this Patriots team can go in there and not say they can, they're going to blow this team out or anything. But I think they can beat this team, and I think the Patriots are a better football team at this point in the season.
So, but I think what you said about the Bucs there, and look, they're banged up, and maybe I need to adjust my expectation a little bit because they don't. Mike Evans is, if not out for the year, he's going to be out for a long time. They're without Chris Godwin today. Bucky Irving's a good running back. Hassan Reddick. They are shorthanded, but like you said, they've figured out how to win close games, how to win tight games.
Mm-hmm.
This is a veteran-tested team that, when you make mistakes, is going to capitalize. Unlike some of the, even a Falcons team that I think has talent, maybe not as much talent as Tampa, but a Falcons team that has talent. We saw that talent last week. Are they experienced enough? Are they mature enough to capitalize on some of the mistakes the Patriots made last week? Clearly they weren't. They made too many mistakes of their own. Tampa can do that. So in addition to the talent test, it's not just about the talent test for me, because I do think with some of these injuries, the talent gap is closer. This is a team that's won multiple playoff games with this core. Very experienced head coach in Todd Bowles. He's coached his teams to wins in the league. Not that Mike Vrabel hasn't, but I just think this is a team that they're not going to give you the margin for error even a young, talented team is.
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. I'm looking at this team and I'm like, I look at some of these games that they're playing, and if you go back and just look at a lot of them, they could easily have a losing record. Tampa, I mean, and late field goals, things like, the Jets just shot themselves in the foot net all over that game. But some of these teams have put up numbers against them. Some of these are the same equal opponents, same guys the Patriots have played against. And their win against Atlanta was exactly the same as the Patriots. Atlanta misses a field goal late, cost them. But I don't think the gap between the two. Okay, I say it like this. If people are willing to put Tampa in the category as a team that can compete for a Super Bowl, I think it's fair that you have to put the Patriots in that same category.
Well, because
I think their schedule kind of lines up. So
that's fair, and that's essentially what I think today's game is. We're going to see them side by side, head to head. If the Patriots hang with the Bucs, I've said this all week. Again, even with the injuries, if the Patriots win this game, we can start talking about them not just being a playoff team, but are they going to make a run? I think today's game would be somewhat indicative of that. If they don't look like they're on the level of the Bucs, then you take that step back and, okay, they're still a young team. We need to reevaluate. I think that's what today's game, to me, these are the kind of teams, if the Patriots are going to make a run in the playoffs, and this isn't just going to be some fun thing that ends in the wild card round like it was in 2021, because I think there's still some people that have 2021 PTSD, and remember that team was, I think that team was 7-2, right? They led the conference at one point, around this time of the year. Remember,
and I think that's when they kind of, not to say fell off, but they started struggling right after this point.
No, so you're right. So they were 7-4. They started 2-4, and then won 7 in a row, and then they had the bye, and then they fell off. So I know there's some people that maybe flash back to that. And I'm not saying if they lose today, they are the 2021 Patriots and they're going to fall apart next year. But, I think today's a real differentiator of if this is real and it's not just they're going to go to the playoffs, but they can make some noise in the playoffs. I know they're in the other conference, but just in terms of their experience, in terms of their talent level, all of that, the Buccaneers, to me, are kind of the team that you're going to need to beat. They're on the level of the team that you're going to need to beat. So we'll get to see how the Patriots stack up with them on the same field. Are you so I know you were replying. Beetle kind of talked about this week about what this game would mean, like win, loss. I think he said like a loss really would not be good. A win almost is expected at this point. Where are you on that? How much does your outlook of this team overall change on today's result? And is there a way you could see this game ending where the Patriots lose, but you still feel good about their overall direction?
I think I want them to win this game. I want to see them keep going. I want to see them continue to build as a becoming a dominant team. I think if they lose this one, I don't think it should change anyone's perspective on this. I think the importance, the games that maybe I'm looking ahead, but the ones that stick out to me is they got a back-to-back games against two former MVPs. Like that Baltimore, Buffalo. I know Baltimore's record is not what we thought they would be, but everybody's coming back. Everybody's healthy. Yeah, Lamar Jackson's first game back.
If Lamar's there, that's a real opponent.
I look at Buffalo's going to come into Foxborough smoking after the way they lost at home. Yeah. You got Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson back to back, two AFC opponents. I think those are the ones that those are the ones they have to beat against two teams that's going to be fighting for position, or Baltimore could be fighting to get in at that point. But I think those are the two I'm looking at. Like, man, those are the measuring sticks to me. If you can beat Buffalo and Buffalo again in Baltimore in back-to-back weeks in December, I think those are more statement wins than beating a banged-up Tampa team at this point. But I think nationally, I think they'll get more love and attention if they beat Tampa. And on the flip side, I'm saying if they beat Tampa, you're gonna have people say the minute the game ends, well, they didn't have Mike Evans, Godwin, but they would name all the injuries and still say the Patriots still haven't proven that it's gonna happen if they win this game. But I think it'd be big for them to win it. But I wouldn't hang your head if they lose to Tampa on the road.
No, this is not a disqualifying win. Now, Thursday night's a different one. I don't want to hear anything about a short week or anything like that. The Jets just sold off their entire team.
You can't lose that game.
We will do a little bit of Jets talk because this is actually the last show we'll have before two games. So we won't be back to you till after that one. But this game, to me, is much more of a measuring stick. This is our Bright Spot segment, by the way. This week's Bright Spot is powered by Boston Solar and comes from late in the fourth, holding on to a 24-23 lead in the final minutes. New England hit their tight end on a third down for 15 yards in the first down. That sealed the win. Boston Solar has helped over 6,000 homeowners take control with clean, renewable energy that saves money. Right now, score $3,000 off your solar installation when you make the switch. Schedule your free consultation at bostonsolar.us. Boston built, Boston trusted, Boston Solar. You mentioned the injuries, Cerrone, and here's why I downplay the injuries a little bit in this game. There's injuries on both sides. Bucs are without some key players. The Patriots are without some key players, too. Who's going to step up for the Patriots with Stephon Diggs and Kayshon Boutte out? We'll get to that next, plus your calls, 617-779-0985 here on Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff.
More Sunday Kickoff is on the way on the Sports Hub.
This is Sean Grande, voice of
I think I said Stephon Diggs by accident. I was looking at the next line on the rundown. I apologize. Hopefully didn't make anybody freak out too much. Ramondre Stevenson, Kayshon Boutte, both out today. But those are big injuries for the Patriots still. Ramondre Stevenson and Kayshon Boutte, both out. I appreciate you guys for checking me there and keeping me honest. These are big ones for the Patriots, though, in this game. Ramondre Stevenson obviously out for the second week in a row here. Kayshon Boutte missed most of the game last week, went out in the first half. Let's start with Stevenson, because that one's a little more interesting to me in the game planning sense. The personnel one, we'll get to Boutte in a second. With Stevenson, so Travion Henderson's obviously going to play a bigger role again, and he's kind of gotten going here. But the way they've gotten him going is some of these runs to the outside, the toss crack and the stretch runs and things like that. Mm-hmm. Tampa, oddly enough, so you think Tampa, Vita Vea in the middle, like stout front, right? Against runs to the outside this year, Tampa is averaging defensively 4.6 yards per carry allowed. That is one of the worst. I think that's second highest in the league, or bottom 10 in the league. In between the tackles, they're allowing 3.3 yards per carry, which is the second. I got this backed up. I'm sorry. Let me reset here. Tampa has been one of the best defenses at stopping runs outside the tackles. They've been one of the worst at stopping runs inside the tackles. So even with Vita Vea, they've been more susceptible to runs up the gut. With Travion Henderson, they've been getting him going to the outside. So do we see that continue and they kind of fight strength on strength? Or is this the week we see them run more of that up-the-gut stuff with Travion Henderson? It's going to be a tough test in that regard.
Yeah, I think they should try and run up the middle against his team. Tampa's, I wouldn't say traditionally, but probably over the last decade, they've always seemed to have speed at linebacker. It doesn't matter who it is. And if you try and run to the outside on them, they have the speed to get out there and force you back inside and tackles for loss. They just get after it on the outside. But I think if you run normally guys that are fast, they normally have a weakness when it comes to strength, and you kind of would attack them head on. I think that's the best way to get after this team. I wouldn't even try and be tricky against them. Now, if they're sending these, Tampa blitzes a lot. If they're blitzing a lot up the middle, and you catch them slipping, and you throw that toss on the outside, and Henderson makes a man miss. Now he's making a big play. So I think you got to kind of pick your spots against this team, but I think you would attack them in the middle. But their run defense is the strength of their defense. I think we talk a lot about Bowles and his defense and getting after quarterbacks, but I think where they have thrived the most defensively this year has been stopping the run, and I think that's going to be a huge factor in this game if the Patriots can get anything going on the ground.
The other thing, and we've talked about this, can you use the pass game to simulate the run? Who would have thought? Do you remember what the big complaint was with Josh McDaniels when we were talking about them hiring him back? Oh, screens, too many screens. He calls too many screens. We're sitting here week 10, and I'm going to say it, like, can we get a couple more screens this week? Haven't been a lot of screens, and I think that's been okay. Like, I don't think he's undercalling them, but I think with this matchup, you want to get Travion Henderson to the outside, but they've been good at setting that edge and not letting the back get to the outside. Tampa has. Do you try to, and maybe they're not direct screens or throwing him the ball in the flat or whatever, but like using that to simulate an outside run game? I wonder if we see them lean on that a little more. So maybe screen Josh McDaniels comes back a bit in this game.
I think this is the perfect game for it. Again, a team that blitzes a lot. A screen game is how you can expose that. That's how you can keep them on their heels a little bit. And not so much just to Travion Henderson, but to Pop Douglas, to get Kyle Williams going, because he gets the ball in his hands. I know we haven't seen it yet for those who didn't, get a chance to see this kid play in college or anything like that. He's probably the fastest receiver they have. And just getting the ball in his hands, getting him a feel for it, get him going in the screen game and see if he can, again, make a guy miss or just get into some kind of a rhythm. I think it keeps that defense on their heels and doesn't allow them to kind of just fire off on Drake May. But I think this is a perfect opportunity to get the screen game going this week.
And then Kayshon Boutte out. So this is going to be the first real test for the depth of this Patriots receiver room. They've obviously been better than we thought this year. They've been pretty good collectively as a unit, but this is the first time that one of them is really going to miss significant time. So Boutte out, I would assume that means it's we know it's Diggs and Pop in that 11 base for long situations, Mac Hollins in the run situations. but then who's at the X? And this should be a big week, and Mike Vrabel talked about it this week. I don't know if we have the clip, Ryan Garvin, if we can play that. Mike Vrabel talked this week about what he expects to see from Kyle Williams in that, and there's something interesting in here. I'll let you listen, and then I'll explain it after. Go ahead.
Keyshawn's injury, is that a situation where you just like to slot in Kyle Williams, or could Pop get more snaps as well?
Well, I think that if you know anything about the group, which I know that you guys do, there's a lot of interchangeable parts. They play at different positions. They're in different spots. And that's not easy. That's not, going from the Z in this personnel group to the X. And so I give those guys a lot of credit. I give Todd a lot of credit for being able to teach it in a manner that allows them to get lined up. And so, that group, they'll all play. They'll all contribute. We'll see where Keyshawn is at the end of the week, but he won't be out there today. And Ellis won't be out there, and Ramondre won't be out there today. So give other guys opportunities.
So that was at the beginning of the week. That was before practice. But what he says in there that's interesting is that Kyle Williams had been learning a lot of different positions. I've been getting a lot of questions about Kyle Williams. Are you worried about him? Is he a bust? Like, when are we going to see him? On and on. And I don't worry about his lack of production to this point because he hasn't really played. Mm-hmm. He's only been on the field for 20% of their snaps. That includes last week filling in for Kayshon Boutte. There's only so much you can do. And about half of those snaps have been run snaps, like run plays. So he can't, the ball's not coming to him either way. What I do think is like his development, and it's been behind closed doors, where's his development at? And the fact that he had to learn multiple positions, that's a lot. That's a lot for a young receiver. And within that, how much is he working with Drake May in practice as the backup? And how's he building chemistry with the quarterback? They didn't work a lot together in the summer. So now you have this week where it sounds like Kyle Williams got a lot of those reps, worked with Drake May in practice, and now is going to have an opportunity to play down in and down out. This is a really big week for Kyle Williams. Let's see how his growth, let's see how that's gone behind the scenes. Let's see where he's at with Drake May. I think some of the incompletions he's had this year, they're just not on the same page. It's going to be interesting to see him with a full week of practice, with more experience with the quarterback, how it looks from here. Because this is a guy they need to get going eventually. And this is a good chance. This to me is like the first real look at Kyle Williams.
Yeah, I think we expected so much out of Kyle Williams coming into the season because we wasn't sure what we were going to get out of Stephon Diggs, Mac Hollins. We were still looking at this receiving group like they were one of the worst in football. But I think to everybody's, a pleasant surprise has been they've been good enough. They've been good. So there's been no reason to just throw him out there and get him all these reps. The opportunity just hasn't been there because everybody else has kind of played their role perfectly and been playing good football. But his situation is very similar to, again, them and Tampa have a lot of similarities. It's the same as Tez Johnson. And Tez Johnson, he wasn't a third-round pick or whatever.
Right.
But it was, what can he do? Is he, why did he fall with seventh round or whatever it is? He gets his opportunity because of the injuries at receiver. Next thing you know, the kid's backflipping in the end zone. He's going to be a real threat against the Patriots today because he has those abilities. But again, it's a guy who's, if he's prepared and ready to get out there and play, hopefully, Kyle Williams to have the same impact as Tez Johnson did in Tampa when he got his opportunity. I know they got two rookies out there, they're key guys, but when he gets his opportunity, he makes the best of it. And I think he'll have a good chance today. And because it's Tampa defense, like I said, I think their strength on defense has been their run defense. They're 22nd against the pass, and all the teams the Patriots have played so far, Atlanta, Buffalo, Cleveland, Miami, New Orleans, Carolina, Vegas, and Tennessee all have been better against the pass. They're not great teams, but they have decent pass defenses. And I think he might get the opportunity to make some plays. I wouldn't say big plays, but to make some plays and get things going downfield and kind of get into a rhythm.
Yeah, the only thing I worry about with that is maybe as a whole, the pass defense hasn't been good. Antoine Winfield's still an unbelievable player, and you're going to have him on the back end. And I think the deep ball in particular, it's not going to be an easy day to throw the deep ball. I also think it's supposed to be, I don't want to say nasty in Tampa, but I don't think it's supposed to be. Yeah, it's Florida, so there's going to be rain maybe coming and going. Who knows? It could rain the whole game. It could rain for 5 minutes. But Antoine Winfield, bigger picture, like this is a very rangy safety. He does a lot of other things very well. He's one of the better safeties in the league, but it's going to be tougher to throw the deep ball, and that's where I think Kyle Williams is going to thrive, and that's what that Kayshon Boutte role has been. I don't think the role is going to change that much.
Yeah.
I would think
I
that
agree
Kyle Williams is going to run a lot of the same routes.
And the biggest thing I'm worried about with him, not just today, but going next, hopefully it's not a few weeks, is the you mentioned it earlier, the rhythm and timing with him in May. I think he's going to have opportunities where he gets open. Well, we've seen this in the preseason. We've seen this early on.
He was getting open a lot last week against A.J. Terrell. The ball just wasn't coming his way. Getting
open, Drake May having the trust to look his way, and when he gets open, can you make that throw in rhythm on time? Or are there going to be overthrows, underthrows? Because the speed is different. It's their movement's different. And my question is, will they have a rhythm, a connection, the way he's hitting this kid in stride and giving him a real opportunity? Or is it just going to be just too high, just too far in front of him? And I think that chemistry between May and Boutte was there, but I'm not sure if it's there with Kyle Williams.
That's what we're going to have to find out after they've had a full week to work together. Real quick before we hit the break, Tony in Canada on this game today. Tony, good morning.
Hey, guys, good morning. Yeah, I just wanted to call in and a couple thoughts here, but, I'm kind of interested in the game more from a big perspective. So they got 7 wins now. How many do they need to make the playoffs? I'm hearing 4 wins to get to 11. Is that correct?
4 wins. Yeah, because
so
they're
they got
7 wins right now.
Yep. 4 more, make 11. Would that be pretty much? Would that seal a playoff win?
I mean, I think 10. I think double digits and I think last year one 10-win team didn't get in, but in this era where 7 teams in each conference make the playoffs, you should get in with 10 wins.
Okay, so 10 is pretty safe.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't want to jinx us, but am I pretty safe in saying that we can give ourselves confidently we'll get to 3 more? We'll get 3 more wins.
Yeah,
I mean they still play the Jets twice. Yeah, I think that's fair. I saw some today. Look, I hate the whole playoff odds thing, but there was something this week. One of the metrics had the Patriots with the highest odds to make the playoffs. They're like 98%.
Okay, so failing like something terrible happening, we just go on a huge losing streak. And I didn't say that. I just thought it. I didn't say it out loud. I think we're going to be in the playoffs. So I'm kind of interested in seeing, this game from a big perspective. Can we steal a win? And even if we don't, I heard the story about the Pats that if they lose this game, are they a fraud and this kind of thing is kind of ridiculous. I know the media just tries to drum up interest in stories, but I want to see, even if we lose, I'm hoping just like Buffalo, it's a close game. I want to see how May handles adversity. And it's just about putting in the pieces, finding the right pieces. So when we didn't make any big splash plays last week, I was fine with it. I'm okay with the slow game. So I'm just hoping we keep it close. We're competitive, and I want to see how May handles adversity. But long term, I think we got the right quarterback, coach, and offensive coordinator. So that's good for us. And, if maybe we can steal an extra win or 2, maybe that can get us a home playoff game. That's what I'm looking for. But thanks again. I call in often, and I want to say it again. You guys really enjoyed the show, and I hope you guys keep doing it. Hope the Pats do as well as you guys do, because I really enjoyed the show. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Tony. I always appreciate the calls from up there in Canada.
And if they fall apart, we know who we can blame now. Tony in Canada.
If they fall apart, we know who they can blame. But I just saw they're getting ready to ship the Christmas tree down for Boston from Canada. So we always appreciate the call from up there, Tony. And yeah, Ryan, you looked it up. Seahawks missed playoffs last year, 10 wins. Since they added the 7th team, that's the only 10-win team that's missed. So you get to 10, that's probably going to do it. But I'm with Tony. I think, again, that big picture thing of this is the kind of team you need to go through. A little bit of a bounce-back spot for Drake May. We'll talk about that later in the show. But this is one of the more interesting games they've played in a few weeks. We are well behind it. Taylor Kyle's waiting patiently. We'll join him next. He'll join us next. Taylor Kyle, CLNS Media here on Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff.
More Sunday Kickoff coming up on the Sports Hub.
Join 98.5 The Sports Hub in Coors Light for a football viewing party this Sunday from 12 to 2 at the Nash Casino inside the Pheasant Lane Mall in Nashua with a
big game today, but Cerrone and I disagree a little bit on where the Bucs are at. What's your assessment of this Tampa team?
Defensively, I think this is definitely going to be one of the bigger tests we've seen the Patriots face, because like last week they faced the Falcons, and the Falcons do blitz a lot, but they don't blitz the way that the Buccaneers are going to blitz, where last week with the Falcons, they have a lot of five-man fronts with a lot of their big guys because they want to create a lot of those one-on-one matchups, opens up some of those line games we know the Patriots have trouble with, all of that. This week, they're going to be playing a defense that really does blitz from every level. They've got linebackers, corners, and safeties who are all among the best pass rushers at their positions. And not only that, but they've got some of the most explosive edge rushers and obviously Vita Vea in the middle. So this defense is a really tough test. Offensively for the Buccaneers, I'm not going to lie, I don't know how they move the football consistently if the Patriots play to the level we know they can, because just the injuries, they have so much youth at the receiver spot. They barely had a run game with Bucky Irving. So I think Patriots offense versus Buccaneers defense is going to be really fun. But, I mean, unless Baker pulls a whole lot of magic, out of that Mayfield bag, I really don't know how they have a lot of consistent success.
Is with that Tampa Bay defense, with all the blitzing and all the stuff they do this season, what's keeping them so far back? Why are they ranked 22nd against the pass? Yards allowed and how many yards they've given up. Is it because teams are throwing on them a lot, or is it just because they're finding holes in them?
Well, there's certain vulnerabilities to their scheme. So with Todd Bowles, he's going to want to take away your deep shots, right? So I don't know if Drake May is going to be bombs away necessarily in this game, but when they do have success downfield opposing offenses, it's usually on crossing routes and in dig routes, right? They're trying to attack the middle of the field and specifically the linebackers in the zone coverage. Tampa plays a whole lot of zone, but also in taking away the deep shots and then kind of being aggressive in their front, that leaves a lot of room underneath. I think this is going to be a huge Travion Henderson game. Fun fact, according to Next Gen Stats, the Buccaneers are allowing the most yards per play and the most yards per game against backfield targets. They'll move with whatever flow you present them. They're going to back up really deep to take away anything downfield. But again, that's going to leave the flats open. They did that for Jahmyr Gibbs. They did it for Nick Chubb. There were a lot of running backs that have had success that way. I think Travion Henderson can have that as well.
Drake May has been one of the best deep passers in the league, the best deep passer in the league by some metrics. His Tampa defense has been susceptible at times, but Antoine Winfield monitoring the back end there. How is he the kind of player you think that his presence alone can change the way the Patriots maybe approach their passing attack a little bit?
In certain ways, I do remember the last time Josh McDaniels played the Buccaneers and the Patriots, I think, back in 2021, one thing I noticed was when they went play action and the Buccaneers presented single high looks, they would typically throw to the outside receiver on a curl route rather than hitting those glance routes over the middle that we know they love. To me, the fact that they did it so consistently felt like them saying, hey, we're going to protect our guys over the middle, and if we have opportunities to not have them get their head taken off by Antoine Winfield, we'll try to minimize those opportunities deep downfield. So there is definitely a possibility, because we know he's one of the best safeties in the league. Not only is he hyper-physical, but he can also take the ball away, whether that's just literally ripping the ball out of a receiver's hands, whether that's tracking it through the air. Like, he's a really talented player. So, like I said, I think they can have success over the middle, but I also think they're going to want to know where Antoine Winfield is on the field, just to make sure they're not giving him any easy opportunities to, hurt the receiver depth any more than it already is.
To your point about the defense, with the linebackers and their coverage, could this be a day where the tight ends seem to get a little more action and get more involved this week? Not saying they've been bad or anything like that, but could you see the tight ends having a big day against these linebackers?
No, I definitely think so. And we saw Hunter Henry, he wasn't getting real active downfield, but he was very reliable for the Patriots underneath, especially in third down situations, because you are going to get a lot of these zone coverages, and sometimes you're going to get some of these edge defenders even dropping to cover Hunter Henry, kind of like we saw last week with Jalen Walker. But Drake May and Hunter have a good rapport. There were a couple of times where they were off last week, which wasn't normal, so I want to see them bounce back there. And Austin Hooper is going to have one big catch a game, right? So I guess we can kind of pencil that one in as well.
Again, we're talking to Taylor Kyles. He covers Patriots for CLNS Media. On the other side of the ball, Taylor, how do you see them matching this up? The Patriots haven't traditionally shadowed receivers as much as maybe we thought this year, that cat coverage. But with Mike Evans out, with Chris Godwin out, Emeka Egbuka is the big threat. Does line up a good amount of the time in the slot. Will we see Gonzalez shadow him, or will they give him multiple looks?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because Gonzo actually has been shadowing the past couple weeks. He shadowed Jerry Jeudy, and then Mike Vrabel. Well, I think Gonzo might have said specifically he was shadowing Jeudy. And then last week, Mike Vrabel said, when I asked about some of the matchups that led to the touchdowns, he said the plan was to have Christian Gonzalez against Drake London, and we actually did see that. Outside of those red zone snaps that I know is probably burned in a lot of people's heads, Christian Gonzalez was following Drake London inside and out. Now, that said, this is a Buccaneers team where, I mean, do you really think that you need to shadow Emeka? Because unless Tez Johnson scares you, for the most part, I think they match up fine. That said, in my dream scenario, I think Christian Gonzalez follows Emeka Egbuka just to keep it safe. And then I think Marcus Jones and Tez Johnson, that's a really good matchup as well. I don't know if you necessarily take Carlton Davis off the field, but I feel like if it's Tez Johnson and Emeka Egbuka, I would feel comfortable if you just decide to have Marcus and Christian Gonzalez as your top corners. So I think they have the personnel to match up with these guys pretty well, especially considering how battered the Buccaneers are offensively. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they decide to stick to sides and say, hey, show us that we need to even shadow you. But, I do think this is probably going to be a game where we see Gonzo against Egbuka.
And for me, do you think the Patriots D-line, you think they can get to Mayfield? I know he hasn't turned the ball over a ton this year. I think he only has like 2 interceptions. Do you think they can get to him and force him to turn into the old Baker Mayfield who like led the league in interceptions last year? You think this is the week where teams can get to him because of the injuries and force some turnovers?
I certainly think so. So one surprising fact about Baker Mayfield, he's only turned the ball over a couple of times this year, but he's committed. He's tied with Patrick Mahomes, surprisingly, according to PFF, for the third most turnover-worthy plays among quarterbacks. So he's putting the ball in harm's way pretty consistently. He's just not paying for it. And the Patriots have been pretty opportunistic, especially in recent weeks. And as we know, their pass rush, there's been some talk about how effective they have or haven't been, but they were the best pass rush in the league last week in terms of pass rush win rate. They were top 5 in pressure rate, and especially with the interior of Christian Barmore and Milton Williams causing trouble, and Caleb Chason is playing very well for them. And the Buccaneers, to their credit, they're getting Luke Hideki back, their right tackle, so that's not insignificant. He was on injured reserve with a foot injury, but I do think the interior for this Buccaneers offensive line is going to be vulnerable. Tristan Wirfs, one of the best left tackles in football, might have a more quiet day from Caleb Chason than we're used to, but I do think the interior, and if Hideki has some time where he's got to get back up to speed with that foot injury, Harold Landry's got some explosiveness off the edge as well, and he can win with that ghost move or with speed to power. So I do think that they're going to put Baker Mayfield in some tough spots, and I think he's going to put some up there for them to steal.
He is Taylor Kyles. He covers the Patriots for CLNS Media. You can find him on social media at tkyles39. Taylor, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, guys. Hope we get a good game.
Hope so, too. I think this will be a good one. I do think this will be a good one. I think we're going to enjoy it. We're going to take a break. We'll go to your calls. Plus, there was the trade deadline this week. Patriots didn't do anything. There were some big moves around the league. We'll react to that next here on Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff.
Stay tuned for more Sunday Kickoff on the Sports Hub.
Well, first, I would say that deals are like being pregnant. You either are or you aren't. There's no like it's either a deal or it's not. So I don't know how close you can be. I know that everyone worked hard and that we investigated and looked in and made phone calls and what personnel departments do. And in the end, we decided that this was what we were going to do. I know that there's a lot of action and a lot of talk. And again, it's kind of where we're at.
Here on Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff, Alex Barth, Cerrone Battle. That was Mike Vrabel this week on not making any trades at the trade deadline. Cerrone, were you surprised? And were you disappointed that the Patriots didn't make any moves this week? Still Cerrone? All right, well, I'll fill mine in here in the middle. Sorry
about that.
No, all right, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry about that. What I was going to say is, you talked about it a few times. You mentioned it. There's not usually a lot of action during the trade deadline. And, there was some moves, some big moves that had happened. But, I'm not surprised. I'm not shocked by it. I've heard about the potential Breece Hall thing. That's a guy I really would want. But if I'm the Jets, I'm not giving you Breece Hall. I don't want to see him twice a year and allow you to get better in our own division. I'm not in the business of helping out the Patriots if I'm the Jets. So I can understand why that one didn't work out. But other than that, if there wasn't nothing really major out there, the Colts getting Garner, that was a big one, but giving up 2 first-round picks for a guy who I think is really underachieved, that's kind of crazy, but I understand that the Colts were going for it. But I'm not shocked and I'm not bothered by the fact the Patriots didn't make any big moves.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting anything big. The Sauce Gardner trade, it's a Halley's Comet of sports transactions, like the big blockbuster NFL trade deadline deal. I was a little surprised they didn't add depth, especially on the edge or at running back. No safeties went, so it's harder to judge there. I look, and maybe some of this is, and they've been doing this since camp. We talked about this when they cut Jabril Peppers. All right, Craig Woodson, a rookie, in a bigger spot. They didn't keep any of those veteran tackles beyond Vidarian Lowe, so Marcus Bryant, they haven't had a turn to him, but backup tackle, kind of a big job. You can get thrust into that like that. So I do wonder if this is a case of whether it's Elijah Ponder, whether it's Caleb Murphy, who they signed off waivers a couple weeks ago, whether it's Braden Swinson getting some bumps from the practice squad. He didn't this week, but he still has his elevations. I wonder if it's an element of we have the young guys, we want to give them a chance, we want to see how they perform, and we're going to give them a look when it's time to give them a look. I do think that there's an element to that. Same at safety. They signed Richard Grant to the practice squad. They signed John Saunders off the Dolphins practice squad to their active roster. Even a running back, giving Terrell Jennings more looks. I wonder if this is just about building the program and getting a better idea of the young players that they have. All right, let's go to the phones real quick before we hit the headlines. Pat in Agawam. What do you got, Patty?
Hey, Cerrone. Hey, Alex.
Hey.
Good morning.
Morning.
So, Alex, I know you said earlier that you're kind of downplaying the injury thing, but when I watched Tampa's last game against Detroit, even when Baker had time to throw the ball, because I think Hutchinson dominated that game, but even when he had time to throw, something didn't look right. And then the whole thing about the oblique injury comes out, and I think they might be downplaying that a little bit more than what's really going on with them, So I really think that the Pats have an excellent chance to win today. In fact, I am picking them to win today, 30-23. But I wanted to get your thoughts on that, and I wanted to get your thoughts on at what point. And I didn't think it was going to happen this year. At one point, do we say we're going to win this game? You know why? Because we have Drake May on our side. I'll take it off air, guys. Let's go, baby.
Thanks for the call, Pat. I think, what do we used to say when times were dark for the Patriots? I still have Brady? Yep. I still have Belichick? Yep. They're in it. And does that turn into May and Vrabel? It's a good point, Patty, but I think Mike Vrabel belongs in that one, too. They have a chance to win today. Well, they have May and Vrabel. So,
that's
as to the point about, what was his other point there? It was, Baker being hurt. I feel like Baker just kind of always plays hurt. It's almost like background noise to me. And I mean that complimentary. Like, he just goes out and guts it out. And there's a game here a few years ago that when he was with the Browns, that he should not have been playing in. He was clearly too hurt, but he was out there still trying to make plays. So he just always kind of looks a little banged up to me. I think that's just the way he plays.
And with him, you talk about a guy that's bounced around a lot. He's not going to sit down because of an injury. because he knows how quickly things can change and you can find yourself playing somewhere else. Somebody else steps in and takes a spot. And he plays very physical. He's very tough for a quarterback. He can take off. That's the one thing we haven't talked about yet. But he can take off and run and hurt you with his feet. And that's where he gets a lot of the injuries that gets banged up at in those spots. But to the college point, we still have Drake May. And the conversation about May being MVP and all that stuff, no one's mentioned the fact that Vrabel probably is coach of the year. And I think that should be, along with what you said, they should be mentioned together. But Mike Vrabel's, he's got to be, him and, out in Indianapolis, battling for coach of the year, because I didn't think anybody saw this coming from this football team.
I do think it's probably Steichen, just because the Colts people viewed the Patriots as on the upswing. I don't think anybody viewed the Colts with Daniel Jones at quarterback beting out Anthony Richardson in camp as like they were heading in the right direction. Huge, So it's not to knock Mike Vrabel. I just pulled up the odds. Shane Steichen is plus 140. Mike Vrabel is plus 180. The next okay, all right. The next closest is Mike McDonald at plus 500. So a big gap there. I thought that said Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel is plus 4,000.
I saw your face like you was about to throw the computer.
Sorry, plus I think 40,000. I mean, would you blame me? I know the Vegas odds get weird sometimes. It's early. All right, speaking of coaches, let's go to Pat in the truck. Pat.
Hey, guys. This kind of falls off of what you were saying. Kyle's mentioned we actually have some sneaky good matchups here, but I think the coaching one might be the biggest one. I think people have forgotten Todd Bowles is not some mastermind head coach. I think he's 0-5 in his career as a head coach coming out of a bye week, which I think says a lot because, you'd think you're going to be more prepared. You have the most time to coach up your team, and he hasn't shown that. I think this could actually be a pretty good game for the Patriots based on the player matchups and the coaching one. Thank you.
Thanks for the call, Pat. 2-5 off a bye. Todd Bowles. But the point stands.
Yeah.
He did win last year, but he's not been great coming off the bye. And the Bucs are still dealing with key injuries. Like the bye didn't help them, doesn't project to help them, I should say, in the way we typically associate it. So that is a good point. Todd Bowles has not traditionally been good off the bye week. Now, he also just coached some bad teams, like he is with the Jets.
Yeah.
So he was losing most games, but has not been great off the bye week. The Bucs probably didn't get as healthy as they expected to coming off of the bye. It's maybe not that traditional help that it's been. Let's get a quick check of the headlines, and then we go around the NFL Week 10 here on Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff. Alex Barth and Cerrone Battle.
From the Tell Your Time Studios, WBZ FM and HD1. It's not just the games. It's Toucher and Hardy, Zolak and Bertrand, Felger and Maz, Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5, the Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines, presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
The Patriots are on the road this week, visiting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this afternoon. It's the 1 p.m. kickoff. Patriots preview starts at 10 o'clock right here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. The Patriots will be without Kayshon Boutte, Ramondre Stevenson, and Christian Ellis for this one. Running back to Ernest Johnson and linebacker Darius Harris are being elevated from the practice squad. Elsewhere around the NFL, you got half an hour to set those fantasy lineups. Game in Berlin today between the Falcons and Colts this morning. In the 1 o'clock window, the Ravens and Vikings meet, a match with teams trying to turn the corner. Big NFC matchup at 4 o'clock with the Rams visiting the Niners, and big AFC matchup tonight with the Steelers visiting the Chargers. In college football yesterday, Indiana hangs on close to survive against Penn State. Number 2 team picks up the conference win. Number 8 Texas Tech beat up on number 7 BYU. Number 9 Oregon with a late win against number 20 Iowa. And a couple of big upsets in the ACC is Wake Forest upsets number 14 Virginia, and Cal beats number 15 Louisville. The Bruins offense was rolling on the road last night as the Bees beat the Toronto Maple Leafs 5-3. Mason Lowry and Morgan Geekie each had 2 points in that game. And the Celtics, they play the Orlando Magic again after losing on Friday. Coverage of that game starts at 5:30 tonight in our sister station, 105.7 WROR. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Veterinary Urgent Care Center with 8 locations in Massachusetts and Rhode Island. VUCC offers compassionate, convenient, high-quality care 7 days a week. Walk in or book an appointment at veturgentcare.com. Veterinary Urgent Care Center, urgent care for your pet's urgent needs. I'm Alex Barth on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update during Patriots pregame.
Boston's best sports talk. There's an app for that. Download the Sports Hub app for low
Pick a target.
You pick it.
Take your pick.
Pick me. Pick me.
I did not pick. There was no pick.
Pick him up. You pick him up.
Pick.
I pick.
Pick me, pick me, pick me.
Take the teams.
Pick one, jerk.
All right, Week 10 in the National Football League. Alex Barth, Cerrone Battle, Ryan Garvin behind the glass. Second hour of Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff. Let's do this, boys. We'll start on Thursday night. The Raiders and the Broncos.
They're going to kick it. They're going to kick it.
Kick what?
Kicking the field goal.
What?
I don't know about you guys. This is like a weird hardo football thing for maybe. Sean Payton versus Pete Carroll in the AFC felt a little gross to me. That's an NFC matchup. And that's like, it's more like a college football thing. Like, oh, these teams in the Big Ten, that's weird. But like Sean Payton, Pete Carroll in the AFC against each other, it didn't sit right. Didn't sit right over here. Anyways, that game didn't sit right with a lot of people.
All-time bad punting. I could not believe that was a professional football game.
Broncos win 10-7, Cerrone.
Yeah, that game Denver's had a few games like this. I think they played one against the Jags or something like that. It was a low score. No, it was the Jets. A couple games like this.
That's the one in London where the Jets had negative 10 passing yards. And the Broncos still barely won. Are they a fake 8-2 team in your mind?
They could, man. I don't know if you watch that game. Genty had 2 runs of like 60 yards, and they both got called back for holding. And it's like the Broncos could have easily lost that game. But hey, they're finding a way to win these games, and there they are at 8-2. I love the uniforms though; they were pretty cool.
Oh, the uniforms are great, and the Raiders were their throwbacks too. But I still don't trust the Broncos. I still don't trust Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix starting to get exposed a little bit. Today we'll start again. Set those fantasy lineups. 9:30 kickoff in Berlin between the 3 and 5 Falcons.
I don't know. I mean, completely nuts.
Between the 3 and 5 Falcons and 7 and 2 Colts. Colts 6.5-point favorites with Sauce Gardner. They're showing him on NFL Network. He's dressed. Looks like he's going to go in this one.
It should be a fun game. This should be a good game to watch. And the Falcons are 3 and 5, but again, their individual talent. The Colts, everybody gets a chance to watch them on, national TV, see what they're really all about. But I think the Colts will win this game. I think they're a better team at this point in the season. And you can't go out and get smoked after making that trade for Gardner. So give me the Colts in this one. Maybe by a touchdown.
Yeah, I'll take the Colts to win and cover. And the Falcons, where are they at after that game last week? Although those Europe games do tend to they're usually pretty close. We've had a good run of close international games this year. On to the 1 o'clock window, the 1-8 Saints at the 5-4 Panthers.
What's that bear doing? The bear. Panther. That's Sir Purr, bro. Who? Sir Purr. How you say that? Sir Purr. Sir Purr. Oh, Sir Purr.
Robbie Chosen's still in the league, by the way. Panthers 5.5-point favorites at home.
Yeah, giving the Panthers at home. I don't think the Saints are even trying to win this game. It's just wild to me that the Panthers are going to be 6-4 after today. It's pretty cool. First
start for Tyler Shuck. Be interested to see kind of what he can do, but yeah, I'm with you. Panthers like sneaky competitive. They might back their way into a playoff spot there if they can buckle down, steal a couple games over the final few weeks. The 2-7 Giants at the 5-3 Bears.
Injuries from the game.
Talk to the trainer. Next.
Mike, why are you in such a bad mood?
What do you care?
Good.
The Bears 4.5-point favorites at home.
Give me the Bears in this one. The Giants, I think their little magic is all but gone now. Give me the Bears in this one. I think they blow the Giants out today.
Yeah, the Giants had a chance to be fun and then like frisky and fun, that sort of thing, where they maybe weren't going to be a great team, but they'd give you good football games.
Broncos game ruined them.
Yeah, and they lost Scatabo, they lost Neighbors. They're just too many injuries to overcome. The 5-3 Jaguars at the 3-5 Texans.
JJ Wow. Little JJ Wow. That's what we used to call him.
The Texans 1.5-point underdogs at home against the Jags. Lowest total of the week here, 37.5 points.
Man, I want to pick the Jags badly in this one, but the Texans they've been getting better. They're banged up. But yeah, give me the Jags. Give me the Jags. Too many injuries.
I'm going to take the Texans. They're getting healthier. Brian Thomas Jr. is out for the Jags. They're at home. I'm going to take Houston. I think that low, 37.5 is crazy low, but I do think that's a hard-fought, low-scoring game. Let's go from the lowest total of the week to the highest total, 6-2 Bills at the 2-7 Dolphins.
You should stand corrected. Good morning. False. Great morning. Let's go.
What makes this one great?
Because we're another day closer to death.
The Bills favored by 9.5 points, biggest spread of the week.
I think the Bills blow these cats out, man. I hope they do. Let's just you know what? No, we don't want him to get fired. We want him to stay there as long as possible. Give me the Bills, hopefully in a close one, and McDaniel coaches his behind off.
The Bills have struggled in Miami in recent years. They struggle with that heat. I don't know what the weather is in Miami today, if they're going to have that sun. Remember the sun beats down on the sideline, and the Bills fans called it cheating a couple of years ago. All right, same as
But yet they're building a stadium that's made to hold Nor'easters over the visiting team.
Right. Maybe going to rain during a game. Sun might be out. Who knows? It's Florida. I'll take Miami to cover. I'm going to take Miami to cover this. And I've been out on Mike McDaniel and all that. The Bills have played divisional games close. They traditionally play Miami close. It's down there in Miami. If it's in Buffalo, I think the Bills win by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I think this one stays close, but I do have Buffalo obviously winning 9.5. Just kind of a bigger line. Let's go to the 3-5 Ravens at 4-4 Vikings.
Why do you even ponder passing? I mean, you can take a knee and try a 56-yard field goal. This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
The Ravens with Lamar Jackson back, 4.5-point favorites against 9 in the Vikings.
I'm picking the Ravens to win this one, but this is a must win for the Ravens. They can't lose this one and take a step back here. The Ravens. I'm taking the Ravens to win in a close one.
As much as it's a must win for the Ravens, it's a must win for J.J. McCarthy. Did you see that thing this week about his alter ego?
Yes.
Get out of here, man. Get out. 9 comes out. It still isn't thrown for 200 yards in a game. I'm going to take the Ravens. I'm going to take the Ravens in that one. This one could have major implications this offseason. The 2-6 Browns at the 1-7 Jets.
All we hear is about their defense. They can't stop a nosebleed. Congratulations. See you in Pittsburgh. Can't wait.
You have this Jets offense that, again, had negative 10 passing yards in a game just a few weeks ago against this Browns defense. But you also have the Browns offense against the Jets. The Browns offense that's inept against the Jets defense that just sold off half its roster. Browns 2.5-point favorites on the road.
The Browns, because I think they're trying to win the game. I don't think the Jets would be doing anything to try and win this game. Give me the Browns in a 13-6 type game.
Do we get Shedeur Sanders today? He is going to be active. He's going to be the backup, or he's supposed to be.
I think the only way he gets in is if Gabriel gets hurt. But I think the Browns are really trying to win this game and try and feel good about themselves. So, yeah, give me the Browns. I don't think Sanders plays today.
I'm with you. I'll take the Browns as well. Last game in the 1 o'clock, Patriots-Bucks. We'll get back to that in a minute. I'll tell you the Patriots 2.5-point underdogs going down to Tampa today. Moving on in the 4 o'clock window, the 3-5 Cardinals at the 6-2 Seahawks.
You feel me? Start taking care of y'all mentals, y'all bodies, and y'all chicken.
Seahawks 6.5-point favorites behind Sam Darnold, who is also squarely in the MVP conversation.
I watched the Seahawks against Washington, and that looked like one of the greatest passing offenses I've ever seen in my life. And they just added to it. So, yeah, give me the Seahawks in this one in the blowout, man. Their receivers just get open immediately. That's a fun team to watch.
I will say, and I think Seahawks win this big, but shout out to Jacoby Brissett. Beat out Kyler Murray for the starting job, and he's going to take over here. Where's Kyler play next year?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Jets. Jets. They're going to trade one of those picks for him. The Jets won the trade deadline. They positioned themselves great, but these next 2 quarterback drafts are big-time unknowns, and if they're going to trade for a veteran, I just don't trust them to do the right thing. Big time game, the NFC West. The 6-2 Rams at the 6-3 Niners.
He runs at the 50. He runs at the 40. The guy is drunk, but there he goes.
Rams 4.5-point favorites on the road at San Francisco. Mac Jones gets the start, although Brock Purdy could be active. So did Mac Jones kind of get Brock Purdy shadow benched as he comes back from that toe injury? And can he pull off another win?
Comeback play of the year. Mac Jones wins this game. Niners over the Rams. I'd say in a close one by 6, like 26-20. Mac Jones does it again.
Give me Mac Jones and the 49ers. I'm with you, Cerrone. I'm with you. Divisional game. Although they have beat the Rams twice, because remember they beat the Rams. And was it a Thursday night game or a Sunday night game where Mac Jones just got beat up badly?
Yeah, he was destroyed.
I was remember went to overtime.
Yeah.
And, so it's tough to beat a team twice, but I'll still take the Niners because I think they've been rolling. This should have been a bigger game. The 5-3 Lions at the 6-3 Commanders.
At the end of the day, I want to be known as Jane Daniels and not
the next such and such.
So no Jaden Daniels of either such and such today. He's dealing with that elbow injury, that gruesome elbow injury, but they're not putting him on IR.
Yeah, saying it's not that bad.
If you told me that when I saw it, I wouldn't believe you. But no Jaden Daniels today is going to be Marcus Mariota, and the Lions are 8.5-point favorites.
Yeah, that Commanders secondary, the way they got torched against Seattle, I don't know about them at all. And they're playing against the Lions, who are capable of doing the same thing. Give me the Lions in a big one.
Yeah, give me the Lions. 8.5 is kind of a big number, but I'll take them to cover it. Tonight, important AFC playoff game between the 5-3 Pittsburgh Steelers and the 6-3 Los Angeles Chargers.
San Diego Superchargers, San Diego Chargers.
Steelers 2.5-point underdogs at the Chargers.
Yeah, I think the Chargers win this one at home. You talk about do you believe in Denver? I don't believe in the Steelers 5-3 record. I think they're a bad team that just finds a way to win. Give me the Chargers at home.
Those teams are sneaky, though, and they did beat the Colts last week. But, yeah. All the way across the country, I like the Chargers at home. And then tomorrow night, the 6-2 Eagles against the 5-2-1 Packers.
We're going to stamp baseball for what?
It's baseball.
Yeah, that's why baseball sucks.
Baseball. Matt McCarthy's having a big week off those World Series ratings. Leave him alone. Interesting nugget here before we get to this one. Adam Schefter reported this like 10 minutes ago. The Micah Parsons trade from the Cowboys to the Packers included a poison pill that the Cowboys used to block a deal to the Eagles. So the Packers, should they want to trade Micah Parsons, which I don't think is going to happen, but should they want to trade Micah Parsons, cannot trade him to the NFC East. I've never heard of anything like that. But wow.
Interesting.
Anyway, the Packers with Micah Parsons, 1.5 points favorite over an Eagles team that can never have Micah Parsons. Can never trade for Micah Parsons.
Give me the Eagles. Packers losing their tight end. Kraft is going to be huge for them. He's a big playmaker for them. Give me the Eagles to win this one. I think they're a better team, and with all their controversy early on, they're still right there at 6-2 and still low-key dominating people. So give me the Eagles.
What does that tell you about Jerry Jones' state of mind when he's making that trade? This guy's so good, we can't let him end up in the division. But you also trade him in the conference to a team you're probably going to have to go through in the playoffs.
Well, he faced them a week later after he traded him.
That's actually pretty fascinating. I'm interested to hear more about that. I've never heard of anything like that. I didn't know you could do that. Yeah, we'll trade this player to you, but you can't trade him to these specific other teams. I've never heard of that. But if it's a thing, I'm a little surprised it's not more common. Anyway. That's the Week 10 slate. Bye weeks this week. The Bengals, the Cowboys, the Chiefs, and the Titans are all off this week. Set your fantasy lineups accordingly. We'll get back to Patriots Bucks next. Here it's Alex Barth and Cerrone Battle on Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff.
More Sunday Kickoff is on the way on the Sports Hub.
8-5. I do want to close the loop, though. So Adam Schefter's put out some more details on this Micah Parsons poison pill thing. Reading from ESPN, unbeknownst to everyone except the few who crafted the August blockbuster trade that sent Parsons from Dallas to Green Bay. It was a little known poison pill condition that, according to sources involved with the deal, prevents the All-Pro from playing for Philadelphia in the immediate future. So this isn't, I guess it would be wrong to characterize it as Micah Parsons cannot go to the Eagles. Here's the detail. The previous unreported condition states that if the Packers decide to trade Parsons to a team in the NFC East, so the Giants and Commanders applies to them too, then Green Bay would owe Dallas its 2028 first-round pick. And oddly enough, if the Cowboys try to trade Kenny Clark to the NFC North, they would owe the Packers their 2028 first-round pick. I'm not sure why they put that in there. That was maybe just playing nice. And that runs through this season and next season. So the earliest, hypothetically, that Parsons could go to the NFC East is 2027. The Packers apparently did this once before, trying to block Brett Favre from going to the Vikings, who, as we know, later ended up with the Vikings. So that's an interesting condition. I've never really heard of something like that. So if the Cowboys were to... So now if the Eagles or one of these other NFC East teams wanted to trade for Parsons, they would basically have to compensate the Packers
that pick,
an extra first-round pick. And that also probably means, I would think, that the Packers can't trade their 2028 first-round pick.
Because that's still used in, it's a part of the penalty for making that deal.
Right.
So you have to leave it.
I wonder how that works. Unless they could. So it does. No, it says it's first-round pick. So I don't know. Maybe they could agree if they got a different first-round pick that year or something else. But so they can't, because it's like in the NBA, right? When you have a pick swap, you can't then trade your pick because you have to have the pick to swap.
Yeah.
So that's fascinating.
But again, it goes to show how these owners, they're not in the business of making deals with teams in their division. They hate each other. They hate the division rivals. And again, Patriots, Breece Hall, no, it's not happening. They're not giving you Breece Hall. As you see how these owners go back and forth with not helping out teams in their own division. So, yeah, I mean, it's I've never heard anything like this, but we always knew that these guys didn't get along when it came to division rivals.
No, it's a good point. It's a good point to connect it back. That's a good job by you. I didn't even think of that. Well, why won't they trade in the division? No, they just don't. It doesn't happen.
They don't like it. I'm not helping you out.
So rare. That's why people were furious when the Browns traded the Bengals Joe Flacco. You remember that?
Yeah.
The Browns fans are irate. And you look at it now, Flacco's like tearing it up. So even more.
But no, not only that, the Steelers, Mike Tomlin was in a press conference going off about it.
That's right.
He had nothing to do with it, but he was going off. How do you do that?
So I wonder if this thing becomes more common now, or even if it's put in contracts.
Yeah.
If teams put in new contracts, like we have the right to not trade you to these teams.
Oh, yeah. Now that this is a thing that's public, this is going to be normal going forward. I'm not helping out my division rival.
Interesting. Well, that's going to impact the draft because, again, you can't. What happens if the Packers want to make a blockbuster trade?
Yeah.
In a year or two, and that picks off the table. So that'll be interesting. All right, let's get back Patriots, Bucks. Drake May, Baker Mayfield, both MVP caliber quarterbacks. And for better or worse, like you ask quarterbacks this all the time. Brady and Manning used to do this. Like, oh, what's it like facing him? And they say, well, we're not on the field at the same time. We're not facing each other, right? That thing, which is true. But when you get these guys in the same game, it always heightens these discussions a little bit. And when it comes to the Drake May MVP hype, he's facing another MVP candidate today in Baker Mayfield. And if he outplays Baker and the Patriots win this game, that thing might hit another level. Now, there's other quarterbacks that are going to have a say in this, right? Like we talked about it during the last segment. Sam Darnold is just bananas right now. But this is a big chance for Drake May on this stage to outduel a guy that he's supposed to be a similar caliber quarterback to or higher caliber quarterback to.
It's with me with Drake May. It's not that This is not a situation where the Patriots are winning and he's the quarterback, so you got to make an MVP. It's kind of like what Daniel Jones was doing in Indy when they were really rolling. I mean, they're 7-2, but it wasn't like he was just there and he was okay and they were winning around him. They're basically winning because of this dude.
This isn't J.J. McCarthy's Heisman campaign.
No, exactly. Exactly. This dude is the key to me, to great players in every sport is elevating the talent around you. He's doing that. He's, before Booty got hurt, he was on pace for a double-digit touchdown season. Everybody's having it. Stephon Diggs, we didn't think he was going to have the season he was having. Drake May has a huge role in that with some of the throws he's made to him. Bob Douglas is coming along. Matt Collins is making plays. That he's elevated this team. Nobody thought this team, even with the moves they made, would be borderline top 5 offense. And there they are right there. It's because of this kid. And when you have a QB rating of 116 and you're completing 74% of your throws and you're 10 weeks into the season, that's MVP caliber stuff. I don't care who you are. You just take the names off the board. Because of any of these other top quarterbacks, if Mahomes, Jackson, or Allen had a QB rating of 116 this late in the season, they'd be unanimous MVP candidates. And this, with Drake May, it's kind of like a but thing with this kid, but he's having an amazing season, and no one saw this coming. And to me, he's doing the most with the least. And that's, to me, is why I think he is the number one candidate for MVP.
On the other side of things, like how much does Baker's ability in that scare you, especially with Emeka Egbuka, who's been very impressive this year? We talked to Taylor Kyles about it earlier. I hope they shadow him with Gonzalez in this game. I think he's that level of receiver. Yeah,
I'm afraid of Tez, because I think he has underrated speed and athleticism. I mean, the reason he fell in the thing, I think his 40 time was kind of shocking to a lot of people. But he
weighs like 150 pounds.
Yeah, he's like Deshaun Jackson, but it's weird. But he has the ability to beat you and beat you deep. I think he has a big playability about him, and I think Mayfield's going to take his chances. It's going to take shots, and all it takes is 1 or 2 of those to connect, and you're in trouble. I think Baker Mayfield is going to be aggressive. I think they all understand they're not going to be able to run the football against the Patriots today, and I don't think they're going to really try too much. I think they're going to air it out, and he's going to take his shots. He might give you an interception or 2, but he's going to make the plays and take his shots downfield.
The thing with Tez Johnson to me, his speed worries me because the speed has killed him. We saw it with Rashid Shaheed. We saw it with Chimere DK against the Titans. I like Marcus Jones in that matchup though, because there's not. I'm not as much a believer in Tez Johnson's game. I think he has the speed.
Yeah,
I don't think he has much beyond the speed, and I think Marcus Jones can run with him. The guy that scares me in this game from the Patriots' defensive point of view is Cade Otton.
Yeah, he's good.
He's been underrated. He's a guy that has started to really emerge with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin out. He started to pick up the slack, and they have really struggled with tight ends this year. So whether it's Craig Woodson, whether it's Marte Mapu, whether it's a corner, whatever their plan is, like if I don't think we're going to come out of this saying I don't think the Patriots are going to let Emeka Egbuka beat them. He might play well, but I don't think they're going to let him beat them. I do think there's a chance we come out as being like, wow, Cade Otton. Like, Cade Otton was just everywhere. I think he could be an X factor for Tampa in this game.
Yeah, you got to keep them out the red zone. I think that's where he'll smoke you. You got to keep them. I mean, last week against Atlanta, the Patriots didn't get burnt on a lot of those plays because it was blown coverage, or bad, scheme or anything like that. The bigger guys won. That's all it was, over and over again. The bigger, I don't know how many one-handed catches we saw from Atlanta last week, but I think Otton has that ability to, like a basketball player, he's going to box you out when he gets on trying to get to move the chains, move the sticks, get in the end zone. I think he's going to have the ability to box some of these Patriots defenders out and go up and make a play, and Mayfield's going to be looking his way. So I think that's a huge thing to look for, but I think you got to find a way to keep them out of the red zone, force them into these long drives to where they just can't get inside the 20, because then that's when he'll burn you.
All right, let's go over to the other side of things. The Patriots offense, how do they match up with this Bucs defense? We'll discuss that next, coming up here on Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff.
More Sunday Kickoff coming up on the Sports Hub.
This is Sean Grande, voice of the Celtics. Tune in tonight.
They bring linebackers, they bring safeties, they bring corners at times. They've bring a lot of different people, and they're good at blitzing. And they've played in that defense with Coach Bowles for a while. A lot of those guys with numerous years playing together in the back end. They're a veteran defense with some good guys already up front. So just bringing more blitzers just makes it tougher on us. So we gotta be on our P's and Q's in the blitz game, blitz pickup.
That was Drake May this week on the matchup with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's Alex Barth, Cerrone Battle here with you on Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff. I think a bounce-back spot for Drake May and for the offensive line, like he just talked about last week. The turnover problems coming back up a little bit there for Drake May. Fumbled twice, lost one of them, threw an interception as well. And I think part of that, look, earlier this season, he didn't make many mistakes, but when Drake May did make mistakes, something I liked is after the opener, it didn't stick with him. Like, he'd make the mistake and he'd just lock back in and he'd still be great. And, you're going to throw interceptions in a game, and it happens. If you're excellent around that one pick, usually you can still find a way to win the game. That's what he was doing. Last week, it was like the opener where it felt like that kind of stuck with him. And I think part of that was he was never really given a chance to settle down because he was hit so many times. He's now been hit 14 times in the last 2 weeks. This is another front that's aggressive, that's going to get after it, that's going to blitz. A lot of the reason he's been hit, some of it is him, and he admitted that this week. He's been holding the ball too long, and there is a give and take there where the turnover number being down and the sack number being up, those two things are probably related. I think they are related. But also the offensive line doing a better job of picking up some of these blitzes and line games and stuff. So I think it's a bounce-back spot for both him and for the protection up front.
Yeah, and I think the last few weeks, we have to give the opponent credit. I mean, Cleveland and Atlanta near the top when it comes to pass defense. They frustrate everybody. They're struggling because their offenses are struggling, but I think their defenses, that's what they do. They get after quarterbacks and they make them hold the ball. They make you make tough decisions and turn you over. I mean, we knew that coming into both those games, and they lived up to it. And he found a way to get through it. I mean, he got banged up. He had to play. He slammed his head off the ground a couple weeks ago, whatever. But he's taking his lumps. But I think this situation this week, I think those two games kind of prepared them for this. I think you're going to get a mix of what Cleveland and Atlanta does, what they did to the Patriots. And I think it's with the two rookies on the left-hand side of that offensive line, it's a big week for them. I think one of the big things missing from Stevenson is his pass protection. I think those all play into it. But I think if they can just hold up another extra half second in this game today, I think the big plays are going to be there. I think the opportunities are going to be there for Pop Douglas to keep going, keep doing what he's been doing, and making plays with his legs, getting yards after the catch. I think the plays will be there for this team. Not saying they're going to get a ton of them. He's going to throw for 4 touchdowns or anything like that, but I think they're going to have their chances to move the ball, and they're going to have to score in the red zone. They can't settle for field goals today, or Mayfield will burn them. Eventually, he's going to get up there and burn them. So they have to figure out a way to get in the end zone. But I think with this aggressive style that Bowles plays, I think they're going to have their chances. And I think one of the big issues with Todd Bowles is everybody knows what he likes to do. This is what he does, and that's it. I don't think there's much adjustments to it. It's kind of like the Steelers when Brady was playing, and he would fry them every week, and they'd just say, well, we're going to play Steelers football. It's like, yeah, that's why you're losing. I don't think Todd Bowles is going to do anything different that they haven't seen, haven't prepared for, and I think that's what's going to end up burning Tampa today.
May is going to have to do that without one of his most trusted receivers, Kayshon Boutte, out for this game. Likely means a bigger role for Kyle Williams. Don and Carver wants to talk about Kyle Williams. Don, good morning.
Yeah, I'm an 80-year-old fanboy of Kyle Williams.
Okay.
And I'm hoping that what I saw of him with Washington State translates to the NFL. I saw some late-night Saturday games of Washington State, being a night owl, and I was duly impressed with the attributes of this man. And I don't want to see passes taken away from Diggs or Pop Douglas. Just give me 2 fairly long catches by Mr. Williams down the middle of the field, and I'll be happy and satisfied because I think he has it in him, and I think he'll be a good addition to the team. Thanks, guys.
Well, there you go, Don. I don't think Kyle Williams is in a high volume role, so it's good that your expectations are there. I think exactly like Don said, he is a big play guy. Diggs is still the volume guy, but is it? The thing with Kyle Williams is it 2 catches for 15 yards or is it 2 catches for 55 yards? That's what it's going to come down to. Although we talked about the Buccaneers' ability to defend the deep pass and Antoine Winfield. One of the things I really liked about Kyle Williams in the draft, and one of the reasons he put himself on the radar, he was always a deep threat in college. Last year, he got much better at catching passes underneath and creating after the catch. And we see them try to do some of that stuff with him. They've designed some screens for him, some end arounds. None of them have really worked. But I do wonder, again, with the deep ball being a little bit tougher this week, if they go back to some of that too.
Yeah, I want to see him, get going underneath. I want to see him on the short stuff. And I think that's a way for him to get into a rhythm, to get into a flow with Drake May. It's like a basketball player. Get a few layups going, get to the free throw line, something easy. And not so much of the home run ball, because I think that kind of gets us some frustration. Say if he beats a guy and he's streaking up the sideline, it may just overthrows him. I think you get a little more frustration out of that as opposed to getting him going early underneath, get him in a rhythm, get him into the game, let him celebrate a first down here or there, and then you take your shots. Then you see what you can get going downfield when the defense is playing him underneath, and then you get him over the top. But I think he's going to work his way in. I'm not expecting a big game from him today, but I expect a big play here or there from Kyle Williams in this passing game.
617-779-0985. You want to join us to break down this matchup, Patriots and Bucs, and we'll have your coverage starting at 10 o'clock. Jim Murray, Chris Gasper on Patriots pregame. Bob and Zoe have the call at 1, and then it's Joe Murray and Mark Dendero back with you for postgame coverage. Matt Dolph and I will also have a new episode of the Patriots Hub podcast tonight. TreVeyon Henderson, too. If they're not going to be able to throw the ball down the field, we talked about this a little bit earlier. I do feel like this is, I don't know if you want to call the Browns a breakout game. Like, it was 10 for 75. It was nice, but it wasn't, I don't know that I'd call that a breakout game. Like, that was a solid performance. I think there's a better chance, and Tampa's been horrible against running backs this year in the pass game. I think there's a better chance, like, we see TreVeyon Henderson maybe go for over 100 all-purpose yards today, something like that. I think he could be, I said earlier, the guy that, if the Bucs come out and beat the Patriots, and I don't think we're necessarily going to be talking a ton about Emeka Egbuka in that case. We will, but I think we come out and we're like, wow, Cade Otton kind of, nobody's going to be surprised if Emeka Egbuka beats up on the Patriots, I guess is my point, because he's a good player and he's a household name. Cade Otton, less so, but I think he can make that kind of impact. I think on the flip side, if the Patriots are going to win this game, and it's not, the expected Drake May just going Superman or Stephon Diggs having another 140-yard performance, I think it's maybe, hey, TreVeyon Henderson finally got it going. If they can get the wheels churning with him, to me, that more so than the average game, that could be a big difference maker in this game.
Yeah, I got a question for you. Do you, with all the talk about the passing game and how to use Henderson in certain ways, but you mentioned how they're kind of weak up the middle. Do you see any chances today where the Patriots just go the exact opposite, 2 tight end sets, and just try and power this team?
I think there's a chance they do it. Now, it's a dangerous game to play, and I was looking at the numbers, and they do still have Vita Vea in the middle, and Vita Vea is still very good. You have to kind of run up the middle without running at Vita Vea, which Vita Vea is a large man. It's not easy to run away from. And they have good linebackers, like Servassier Dennis, another underrated player. He's a guy I liked for the Patriots a couple years ago in the draft out of Pitt. He covers a ton of ground. So
that's why you can't run outside.
Well, some of the issues in the run game for the Patriots this year has been they'll get it blocked, and I've talked a lot about this with David Andrews on our podcast. They'll get it blocked at the line of scrimmage, and they'll take the defensive lineman out, but then they aren't climbing to the second level and getting the linebackers. And if you're not getting to Servassier Dennis, he's going to get to you. So maybe there's an element of that, but we're going to have to see this run game take another level when it comes to the blocking because, again, and Andrews has talked about this. Objective one, take the defensive lineman out of the play because if you don't do that, nothing else matters.
Yeah.
But what takes the run game to the next level is once you do that, you then have to be able to take that guy out and get up to the second level and get the linebacker and get him too. And that's how those 4-yard runs turn into 9, 10, 12, 20-plus yard runs. So that's what they're going to need to do today. If they want to go up the gut, and I do think they're going to need to go up the gut a little bit, we're going to be looking at Jared Wilson. It's especially in the middle. Jared Wilson, Garrett Bradbury, Michael Onwenu, not just winning at the point of attack, but climbing to the next level and getting Servassier Dennis and those linebackers blocked to really get Travion Henderson in space.
With that being said, do you see them running more out of a shotgun sets? Travion Henderson right to Mays left to right, spread them out, and then more like the draw game. You think that's a way to kind of spread out the middle of that Tampa defense and allow for him to get those yards up the middle?
It could be. What I like that they're doing more, this is an old McDaniels. This is like textbook McDaniels. And I remember I said this back in September. The playbook is not going to look the same in September as it does in December. And they're going to evolve this thing, and they're going to continually add to it. In one of McDaniels' wrinkles from his previous stints here that he started to put back in place is they'll come out in the huddle in 21 personnel with the fullback. But then they come out and the fullback split out wide. They did this on the Pop Douglas touchdown last week. And it's a little more effective now, I think, in theory, because even though, the players out there, you have to respect them. Like James Devlin was a defensive end before he became a fullback. Jakob Johnson was a defensive end before he became a fullback. Jack Westover is really a tight end that they're splitting out there. But now all of a sudden, if the other team's in man and they're going to declare man, well, now you have a linebacker going out and following a fullback on the boundary. And now if you can run in behind that, and then you take that to another level, which they did on the Pop Douglas touchdown, where we're going to put the fullback out wide, Travion Henderson's in the slot, the wide receiver's in the backfield, and they get the wide receiver locked up with the defensive end or the edge rusher, Jalen Walker, and throw that for the touchdown. So I would like to see them. It's kind of answering your question, I guess. Short answer, yes, I think we see some of that. The long answer is I would like to see more of those formations where, all right, there's a fullback out wide, there's a running back in the slot, there's a wide receiver in the backfield. It doesn't have to be all three of those things every time, but you're mixing and matching those to – the point is basically you just learn more about the defense when you do that. Not everybody does it because it's not easy to execute. You need players that can handle different roles than they typically play. It's a lot mentally on the quarterback because there might be motions involved in that. Or you have guys who aren't running their usual routes. But if you can handle it, it's a really good way to learn about what the defense is doing. And against this Tampa defense, like Taylor Kyles told us earlier, that likes to send all these different blitzes from all these different parts in the field, the more information you get pre-snap, the better. And it's a good way to identify things pre-snap.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think you got to confuse these guys, get them on their heels, and see if they're still going to be ultra aggressive when you have them spread out like that. And if they are, I think the big play chances and opportunities are going to be there for this Patriots team. If that offensive line, again, holds up an extra half second, I think plays will be made today by this Patriots offense. And I think they'll do enough defensively to where they're not getting lit up by the Tampa's offense. I know Tampa's dealing with all the injuries. If Tampa was at full strength on offense, this would be an insane matchup for the Patriots defense and anybody for that matter. But I think the plays are going to be there for that offense. And I think they're going to have a good opportunity to win this game today.
All right, we're going to hit a break here, come back. We actually have 2 game picks to do today. 2 game picks. So we'll get to that on the other side on Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff.
Stay tuned for more Sunday Kickoff on the Sports Hub.
At Citizens, we help make sense of your money and all your money questions.
Is there...
run up on a swing right leg.
Every football game starts with a kickoff. This is Sunday Kickoff with Alex Barth and Cerrone Battle on your home for Patriots football. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
All right, let's make some picks. Like I said, we've got two. So we'll start here. Patriots, Falcons today. Cerrone, who you got?
I got the Patriots winning this one. I got them a couple field goals in it, but 27-17. I got the Patriots winning. I think the Bucs have a tough time sustaining drives because of their lack of ground game. And the Patriots, elite run defense. I don't think anyone gets the 50 yards on them this week either. I got the Patriots making Tampa one-dimensional and winning it 27-17.
Did I say Patriots Falcons? Obviously, I meant Patriots Bucks.
No, I'm watching the Falcons as well.
I just saw them score the touchdown.
Same here.
Anyway, Patriots Bucks. You have Patriots over the Bucks. You said 27-17?
27-17.
I am going to go Buccaneers 34-28. I just think the Bucks in Tampa, little too much experience in these games, little too much talent. I think it's a good effort from the Patriots. I think we come out feeling okay about it. But 34-28 Tampa, high-scoring game today. And then we're not going to be back until next Sunday, but the Patriots play on Thursday. So we didn't really talk a lot about Patriots-Jets. I don't know how much I'm not mad that we're losing this game as the game we don't get to preview, if we're being honest. But Patriots-Jets, what's your pick?
Oh, man, Patriots in a blowout. If they lose this week, they're going to take it all out on the Jets. So give me the Patriots. Either way, Patriots in a blowout. Short week. Again, if they shut down Breece Hall, it's going to be real ugly. So give me the Patriots in a big one.
Go 35-10 Patriots on Thursday night. So they lose to Tampa. They bounce back big. Ryan, what are your picks?
I don't know why you guys keep asking me for my picks. I don't think I've gotten a single thing right on this show.
It's about the journey. It's about the experience.
Look, I need Drake May to win this game. I think this will do really well for his MVP candidacy, but I think it's going to be more along the lines of what you just said, Alex. I think we're kind of being like moral victory Monday mode where I think the Patriots will have an opportunity to win late, but ultimately won't get it done. I like the Buccaneers probably hanging around 30-something points on the Patriots today. And, of course, Patriots blow out the Jets on Thursday.
Yeah, so all that.
So I just promised the Jets will win. I'm so sorry.
So we'll be back next Sunday. That will be kind of a post-game show, maybe a big picture state of the team thing. I've actually, the few post-game shows we've done, Cerrone, have been very fun. Usually the phones light up and we just kind of go through it all big picture. So we'll be back next Sunday. If you missed any of this show, Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff, wherever you get your podcasts, or the Sports Hub YouTube channel. I will be back tonight with Matt Dolph. We'll have an episode of the Patriots Hub podcast. You can find that, again, wherever you get your podcasts, and the Sports Hub YouTube channel, and the podcast with David Andrews tomorrow. That'll be up Monday. We put those up about 6 o'clock. And then, of course, 98.5thesportshub.com for all your written coverage of the game. I'll also actually be back in here in about half an hour to talk with Jim Murray and Chris Gasper on Patriots pregame. So I'll talk to everybody then. Everybody enjoy the game. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the next two games. We'll talk to you next week. Bye.
From the Telfair Type Studios, WBZ-FM and HD1. It's not just the games. It's Toucher and Hardy, Zolak and Bertrand, Felger and Maz, Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5, the Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station.